All right, we are back from JB Scale Graphics Field of Dreams. It is Monday morning. I'm in the hobby room just kind of assessing some of the damage that I took this weekend, which wasn't all that much. You normally on a big weekend like this where you do a 2-day race, you come home with a lot of damage, and thankfully this time I did not suffer very much. I just got a few little things right here that we got to go through, and then from there we can focus on my next race, which is the Hall Brothers Open House coming up later in November. First things first on the Digger Pro mod here, this is the LMT Pro mod that we went over in the last video that I did. This one, the only thing that we had go wrong on it was this lower link down here. And now you can see why I put the zip tie on. Those bolts decided to pull out a little bit and unfortunately ripped this lower link out. So I'm going to attempt to throw a bunch of JB Weld in there and try and kind of recreate the plastic right there and bolt back up into it, and it should be good to go. This old body has seen better days as well. This was on my 2018 Trigger King Pro Mod Clod Buster that ended up winning the championship that year in Trigger King. Basically, I threw it back on this truck because I want to save the really good body that I have for future events. So we're just going to run this one until it just decides to completely crap out on me. As you can see, though, I think it's starting to get there, as around the holes that we've got drilled right here, there are some cracks forming. That's a big one right there. And then back here, we took a pretty good dent in the back of the body. So we're gonna get the crew back on this, and we're gonna have it back out there as soon as possible. The other thing we broke is on the back of Bigfoot 4, and no, I'm not talking about the flag. This happened transporting it home. The truck was set in the back of the truck. This truck was set in the back of my truck a little awkwardly, and the X-Max kind of leaned over a little bit on the way home and destroyed the flag, which is a pretty easy fix. You can see all it is a broken little piece right there. I'll just cut that off, and I'll slide that back down in there. It'll be completely straight again. But back here was the main issue. You can't really see it. Sorry about that. The lighting's not all that great. I might be able to turn the flash on now that I think of it, though. Let me see. Oh, there we go. You can see the lower tube right there. That lower piece. See how top it's all nice and black around it. You can see the side of the bolt in there. That's because that lower axle tube broke the ear right off of it. And the ear is this piece up here where you bolt into, and it comes down, and you bolt into it down here. Basically, as we had a rain delay, I just did not feel like yanking into this thing and tearing out and completely changing this axle tube. So I drilled through the knuckle, and you can't really see it. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. You can't really see it from here. I'd have to take the tire off, which we'll do here in a little bit. But basically zip tied this thing on. You can see the zip tie actually right there now that I look. It's zip tied around the tube just to kind of hold it in to get through the second bracket that we did. And didn't really do all that well in retro this weekend, but I cannot complain. There's only one more race left on this truck this year. And, I mean, it's won just about everything. And when we go through and we do an actual video on this truck, I'll show you all the trophies this thing has accumulated in 2021. Alright, so here's just a little tour right now of how I set my little workshop up. And I know it's a mess right now. I've had a long racing season, so I'm still trying to get everything done. And once we get everything done and over with this year, I plan on just going through this entire hobby room and cleaning it completely out. But right now, this is my setup on how I work on things. We've got the truck up here right in front of me on my nice long table, which is just caked with a bunch of stuff at the moment. We'll get that all cleaned up, like I said, after our race coming up. My favorite drink of choice while I'm in here, good old Barks root beer. Right next to me is my toolbox, and right next to that is trucks upon trucks upon trucks just laying across from each other. Planning on changing this around soon, like I said, but right now, this is what I got to work with. Hey, by the way, if you haven't, check out my podcast, The Retro Monster Truck Review, available on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Go look us up. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow that over there. Myself and Matt Stoltz host the show, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of covering old school monster truck history. If you're interested, give us a listen. Alright, as you can see in there, with the J Concepts tributes, you can bolt a planetary cover on the front of it to kind of give it a more realistic look. And those bolts can be incredibly hard sometimes to take off. So What I did was I went to my good old Walmart. I bought this little Black & Decker drill. It's not all that expensive. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but I mean, it works out very well. These are bits I got off of a website called Banggood. Kevin Talbot, if you know him on YouTube, he actually has these, and he uses these bits quite a bit from Banggood. They work out really well for me. They're very cheap. I'll link them in the description below if you want to use them. I got 2 sets because they were so cheap. I want to say it was about 22 bucks altogether. The downside is here in the United States, they do take a little while to get to you. It took about a month and a half for the first set that I ordered. It took about a month for the next set because it is an overseas company. But they're fairly cheap, and if you're willing to wait, they are worth the price of admission. But anyway, those bits worked out really well because you can take your drill and get in here and nail these out fairly quick, so you don't have to really worry about a bunch of time-consuming I can't even talk. You don't have to worry about the time-consuming process it usually is when you're taking those bolts out. If you've got a little drill like this, you can get right in there, get them straight out within a minute or two, and you're ready to work on your truck. Alright, so upon further inspection after pulling this all apart, it appears that these plastic lower link mounts have just seen a bunch of better days. So I think I'm going to order a set of aluminum ones to throw on the bottom here. And I think that'll really actually do a lot better. I'm still going to JB Weld in here and just trying to get those threads back. And we'll go from there. Alright, so not going to be able to fix the front of the Gravedigger truck at the moment. Like I said, ordering some new parts for these lower link mounts. Going to get some aluminum ones on there. I have aluminum ones on my Reckless Intent truck, which you all got. If everybody watched Trigger King this year, it was actually the Bad Company truck. Now it's Reckless Intent, which is my branding. And if you can see on the wall behind me here, I've got some of the original body panels from the original Reckless Intent body, as well as one of the old chassis that it ran as. Pay no mind to me and Bigfoot Power Wheels over here. But get that fixed when I get those parts in, and hopefully that truck, the Gravedigger truck anyway, will be ready to go for the Hall Brothers open house next month. Be on the lookout for another video coming soon. It's going to be the complete rundown of my retro Bigfoot 4. There is a video on this channel of an older version of Bigfoot 4 that I did with a Sicken Me chassis. This one that's coming is going to be all updated with the regulator chassis that came out from J Concepts. You saw a little bit of clip of the rear axle of that truck, but if you want to see it run, go look at some Trigger King retro videos from this year and late last year in our season, and you'll be pleasantly surprised with how that performance was. Until then, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed this JDRRC blog. And always remember, keep the shiny side up and the tire side down, rubber side down. See y'all next time. Hey guys, hope y'all enjoy this little ending clips right here. Just a few clips and a few photos from the race weekend out at JB Scale Graphics Field of Dreams. Just a man and his puppy walking to his track.
All right.